Yudhapatakabalan Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrudatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakandritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Govika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhano Sute Devi Pranamani Hare Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyahevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we're continuing second session of Yajnas and Samskaras. Last time we discussed about Kushandika, the preliminary activities. And today we will be discussing about the different samskars. As mentioned before, 16 are there. And for the grihastas, and so 10 should be performed certainly, and the other 6 are optional. So also one important point is that, of course, the priest has to be qualified, so he must be a brahmana, means he must, especially in our society, but in general also, he must be absorbed in spiritual activities. Brahmana is one who is absorbed in Parabrahma, in the supreme truth, absolute truth, worshipping Krishna. And so in our society, just like in deity worship, we have explained Pancha Anga Puja. So it is not just simply going to do artik, waving the incense or dressing the deity, but we have to be prepared. Anyone who took the deity worship course? Remember Panchanga Puja? You remember? 5 limbs, Panchang. Chaitanya? Jainitai? You know Panchanga? So, yeah. So the priest, he should be knowledgeable in the scriptures. He should know how to do puja. And and when you worship the deity, so you have to prepare. Abhigama, now going to the temple. So you have to take bath in the morning. Of course, first thing in the morning you remember Guru Gauranga Krishna, or which we may do. So that we'll discuss also. So then you can also one more thing. So as explained also yesterday, so the priest, he should know most of the mantras by heart. So then on page 26, you may see. So first of all, the priest also, he will do the declaration of the activity. Page 26 in Hindi, let me see. In English is page 26, and Hindi. On page 21 in Hindi. So Samskar, the declaration is there. That usually the priest will say, and for example, where we are situated, simple sankalpa, that is the declaration of the activity, and then elaborate. So even Prabhupada, for example, when he was giving initiation, of course Prabhupada was doing very simple, according to time, place and circumstances. So, for example, he was saying, now we are situated here in wherever he was. Okay, here in Vrindavan, and on this auspicious day, we will do the initiation ceremony in front of Gaunita Krishna Brahm Sisirada Shamsundar. Then in Sanskrit, so that is there. It is so the simple one. Om Vishnu Om Tat Sat, Si Govinda, Si Govinda, Si Govinda. So remembering Vishnu, and then of course Govinda. Om Tat Sat. So that is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. These three words are significant. What means Om? Anyone knows what is the meaning of Om? What is Om?
The impersonal form of
Impersonal form of the Lord. Okay.
Omkara.
Omkar. Pranav, impersonal form of the Lord. Right? Everyone agrees? No? Oh ho ho. It is also true. Om also refers to the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth, but more also. Like Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Even the Mayavadis are chanting Hare Krishna and they want to merge in the absolute truth. But we know what is the Maha Mantra, what is the meaning of Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna. What is Hare Krishna?
Radharani, please engage me in the Lord's service.
Right. Hare refers to Srimati Radharani. Krishna is Krishna. And Hare Ram? What is Hare Ram? Okay. What is Hare Ram?
Ramante Yogina.
Yes. Ramante Yogina Ananta. So that refers to Ram. So one time some sannyasis were asking Prabhupada in South India. One sannyasi was saying Ram refers to Ramchandra. One was saying, no, it refers to Balaram. And one other was saying, no, it refers to... And then, so they were discussing two sannyasis actually, and then they went to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, what, Ram in Mahamantra, that is Balaram or Ram? And Prabhupada said it can be Balaram, or it can be Ramchandra, or it can be Parashuram. But usually as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, when we chant Ram, so we remember Radhika Raman, Hare Ram. Hare Ram is Radhesham. So Ram refers also to Krishna, who is performing pastimes, Raman. So Raman Bihari, Radha Raman, performing pastimes. Yeah. Huh? What happened? So similarly, Om has different meanings of according to the person who is chanting and what he has understood from the spiritual master and the scriptures. So we are following Rupa Goswami, right? We are Rupanuga Vaishnavas. Everyone is Rupanuga here?
Yes.
Of course we follow Prabhupada, but then we are under Rupa Goswami. And so Rupa Goswami is explained, Akarunchate Krishna, Sarvalokaika Ukaruchate Radha, Maka Jiva Vachakaha. Any Sanskrit scholars here? Okay, not yet. So that Om refers, A refers to Krishna, Aravindaksha Krishna, who has beautiful lotus eyes. Like lotus petals, his eyes. Elongated, very beautiful. Sarvalokaika Nayaka, he's the only hero. Because in India you hear Bollywood hero, in America Hollywood hero, and then like cricket star, football star, they're also heroes, but they're very insignificant. And that is temporarily, but the real hero, that is Krishna. Sarvalokaika Eka Nayaka, he's the only hero. Even Vishnu or Ram, in comparison to Krishna, they are insignificant almost, we can say. But they are Bhagavan also, but Krishna's pastimes in Braj are most beautiful. So therefore, in this verse, Rupa Goswami is saying he is the only hero. So for us, Krishna is the only hero. Ukrochate Radha, who refers to Srimati Radharani, Urjeshwari Srimati Radhika. In month of Kartik we perform Urja Vrata. Urja means the effulgence, the strength. So that is Srimati Radharani. So she is the pleasure potency of Krishna, the original energy of the Lord. The Adi Saraswati, the original goddess of learning, and the original goddess of fortune, Adi Lakshmi, that is Srimati Radharani. All the Lakshmi Devis, even Durga and so on, they are expansions of Srimati Radharani. So, Mahakar, so Ma refers to the Jiva. So Om refers to Radha Krishna. So Tat, so that refers to the absolute truth, Krishna, Radha and Krishna. Sat, that means eternal. So these words are significant, therefore they are also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita by Krishna himself. So in this way we're focusing our intention on the Supreme Lord. And for us, so it is Govinda. Govinda, Krishna and Braj. If you go to South India, they also call Govinda. Govinda. Govinda.
Govinda.
But they refer to Vishnu when they say Govinda in South India. So there are different Vishnu Murtis are there with different names. So one of them is Keshav, like we say Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha. So these are Vishnu, the name of the Vishnu Murtis. So Krishna gave them the names. Krishna is the origin of everything. And these names refer to Krishna. All the names of the different Vishnu, they refer to Krishna also. He's also Narayan, he's Govinda, he's Madhav. And Krishna gave these names to the Vishnu Murtis. And then so for example here, Adya Mase, which month it is? Which month is it now? Kartik Mase. The 12th mantra there, like when Mahaprabhu has appeared, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, band ho gaya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
What is mean? Hare Krishna. Sat. It's connected.
Sat.
Sat. Tat Sat.
Sat. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What is the meaning of Sat? Sat, Sadguru, Sat Shishya. So that means the one who is transcendently situated on a transcendental platform. Spiritual. Sat, Chit, Ananda, Vigraha. Sat means eternal. Sat, Asat. So, Tamasima, Jyotir, Gamayaha. You leave the darkness and you go to the light. Asatma, Sadgamayaha. You leave the Asat, that which is non-permanent, and you go to the permanent. And Mritama Amrita Gamaya. Mrita, this death, cycle of birth and death. You leave that and you go to Amrit. To Amrit Gamaya. Amrit means the eternal. Amar. Amrit means nectar also. So Sat means eternal. So the 12th mantra there, and so the Vedic name is there, like Falgun Mas, and then Chaitra Mas, Vaishak Mas, and so on. But all of them, they have a name of the Lord also, like springtime Madhav, and like Damodar. Again, this may refer to the names of Vishnu or Krishna directly. So Damodar, we see Yashoda Damodar or Radha Damodar. So we pronounce the name Damodar or Kartik Mase Paksha. There's a Krishna Paksha, Gaura Paksha. So Krishna means the dark, and Gaur or Shukla Paksha means the bright fortnight. Titao, the Titi. So, like for example, Ekadashi Titi, the 11th day of the dark or bright fortnight. Dvadashi Titi, and so on. So today, what is today? What Titi? Dvadashi. Trayodashi. Today is actually Trayodashi. Oh yes, because yesterday was Madhvadashi. But yesterday we followed Ekadashi. Why? Huh? So there's sometimes a little complicated, but so like yesterday's Dvadashi is shy, is lost. The Dvadashi was lost. Why? Because it didn't touch any sunrise. Therefore we follow Mahadvadashi. Tri Sprisha. There are 8 Mahadvadashi. So because it touched the sunrise, touched the Dashani and the Ekadashi, and the Dvadashi also were there. So that is called Tri Sprisha Mahadvadashi. So the Dvadashi was not touching the sunrise yesterday or today. So therefore it is shy, it is lost. It's not shown in the calendar. Like if you have a Vedic calendar, there is no Dvadashi Titi. It was Ekadashi yesterday and today is Trayodashi. Dvadashi is gone. But it was there. But after sunrise, it started and finishes before the next sunrise. And like sometimes there's 2 Ekadashi or 2 Purnima, because it is touching both sunrise. Because sometimes the Titi is long and sometimes short. Like this, the solar is very much regular. Like in the summer, longer time, maybe in 14, 15 hours sun, and then it's becoming less and less, and in the winter is only maybe 9 hours. So it is going down or increasing very slowly. But the moon, it is sometimes, the Titi of the moon, the Titi, like day of the moon, is sometimes 26 hours, sometimes 22 hours, sometimes 18 hours. So the one Titi is touching 2 days, like the Purnima, then sometimes there's 2 Purnima, because it touched 2. Yeah. Then it is cold. Then, if this is happening, then the Ekadashi before we have to not observe, but we observe on Dvadashi. And then it is known as Paksha Mahadvadashi. So these are technical things. So anyhow, the priest should know these things, and because then he has to do the Sankalpa. In the West it is okay, you just say in your language. Now we are situated in New York, and today it is Wednesday, and the month of February or whatever. But in India you must say, because that is expected and it is known, you must be more precise and where we are. So, yes.
Can you tell me that actually the titis from day 1 to 11.
Oh, he wants to do all the tithis till the 14th day. There are 15 days, 15 tithis. Yes. Pratipad, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti, Saptami, Ashtami, Navami, Dashami, Ekadashi, Dvadashi, Trayodashi, Chaturdasi.
14.
Yeah, and no, there's one more, 15th. So when the full moon is there, the 15 days Purnima. When the moon is not there, new moon, it is known as Amavasya. Okay? 15, 15. 15 and 15. Yeah, in the dark fortnight, so the 15 days Amavasya, in the bright fortnight, the 15 days known as Purnima. Okay? Yeah. So it is more elaborate, that is there, mentioned here also. Adya Brahmana Ditya Praradhe. So Lord Brahma is the original creator here, and he lives how long? 100 years. Lord Brahma lives 100 years. But his years are much longer than our years. That is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Sahasra Yuga Pariyantam. 1,000 yugas together. Which yugas? Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta and Satya Yuga. These four together, 1,000 times. Yes, in 1,000 that is Lord Brahma's day and that is also his night.
It is calculated as a kalpa, right?
Yeah, that is also known as Kalpa. So 432,000 years is Kali Yuga, 864 is Dwapar Yuga, and 1,300,000 something, 328 is, yeah, is the Treta, and then 1,728. Yeah. So altogether, 1.7 and what was it, 1.3 makes like 3. It is almost 3842. 4,200,000 years, that is one kalpa, and 1,000 times is one day. 4 million times, 4,000 million years, that is one day, and such is the night also. So, Adya Brahmana, Dvitiya Prarardhe. So, we are in the second half of his life. So, he's about 50 years old, Lord Brahma. And then, we are in which kalpa? Shvetavaraha kalpa. So, they all have a different names, the kalpas. And they're different in one kalpa. So, the 14 manvata. In one, So, the 14 manus in one kalpa. And and they all have a different name. The present one is known as Vaishvat, Akya Manvata. And so in this Manvatar, it is Ashtavinsati Kali Yuga. It is the 28th Kali Yuga of the Vaivashvat Manu. And Pratama Sandhya, it is in the first part of the Kali Yuga. First part. So then it is mentioned Gorapta Samvatsare. So according to our calendar, so different calendars are there. The Christian calendar, so we are in the year 2025. But there are other calendars, but we count from Mahaprabhu's appearance. 539 years ago. Then it's in Sanskrit. Navatrimshati Adhika Panchasatta. That is 539. Navatrimshati, 39, Adhika, and 500. So 39 and 500 is 539. But in Sanskrit say, Navatrimshati Adhika Panchasatta. Gorapta Samvatsare. So the course of the sun, Uttarayan or Dakshinayan? Dakshinayan, yes. So from January till June, it is Uttarayan, and then afterward is Dakshinayan. The sun is going the northern hemisphere and after the southern. And then Ritu. So in India there are 6 seasons. Now we are in, Sharad. Sharad Ritu, Vasanti spring. 6 seasons are there. So that is mentioned. Maas, so Kartik Maas, Shukla Paksha, and the sun sign, Rashi Sitte Baskare. So the sun sign, now, let me see, what was it? Leo was there and after? Huh? Tula. No, I don't think it's Tula. Scorpio, I think. The sun sign. And then Tito, so that we explained, is Trayodashi Tito on the day of the week, Vara Anvitayam. So today is Somvar, Monday, Nakshatra. Nakshatra, we call us constellation, the 27. So like Revati Nakshatra, Rohini Nakshatra, and so on. And also stated where we are. Where are we? Where are you? In the universe, where are you? Jambudvip, yes. And then, where? In the northern side of Jambudvip or southern side, or east or western?
We are now north side.
Now we are on the southern side of Jambudvip. And then Bharat, in Bharat, and Ganga, Jamuna, Paschimi Bhage, on the western side of the Jamuna, in Vrindavan Dhamne, Sri Guru Sri Gauranga Radha Krishna Sanido, in front of Guru Gauranga and Radha Krishna. And then we say the name of our Gotra, the family line. In India they have different family lines. Bharadvaj Gotra, Gargamuni Gotra, and so on. But we identify ourselves as belonging to Krishna's family, Achyut Gotra. And then the name of the priest, he will say his name, and then those who take part, and then what ceremony it is. So then it is mentioned that Vivah Samskara Karmaham Karishye. So I will do this ceremony. So that is usually done before the ceremony. Especially in India, it is absolutely required, because that is the tradition, and the priest will have to do that. In the West, you can just say in your language, but now also the devotees who are learning, so they will say in Sanskrit also. And so we're saying about the fires. The other day also, the name of the fire is there, that is mentioned also. For example, for the Vivah, for the marriage, the name of the fire is Yojaka. So for name giving of the child, Partiva Agni. So that you can all look up there. So I'm just giving some idea. Just like we were saying, we are calling the Lord in the pot, so we're calling also the fire god when we worship the fire. So when everything is established, as explained the day before, and so Guru Gauranga Krishna Puja has been done, and usually the priest, he should say something about the ceremony, and he should say something about Krishna or Ishtadev, because Krishna should be in the center, and about devotional service. And so many times it can be like a kind of preaching also. Like if marriage ceremony is there, then many family members are there. If they are not so God conscious, then you can do a little preaching also. By the way, you're doing the marriage ceremony, but you do some preaching. Usually I always ask everyone, so how many rounds are you chanting? And then you think about it. And then I will explain. And of course then we explained about the marriage, sacred marriage, Grihastha Ashram. So, as we know, Griha Maid or Grihastha. Griha Maid is just one who is a householder. Griha Maidi, Griha means the house, Maid in intelligence is just thinking about the house, the family, how to earn money, how to enjoy. But the Grihastha is different. Grihastha is staying in the Griha, in the house, but that house is an ashram, grihastha ashram. Ashram is a place where the Lord is worshipped. So we enter in the grihastha ashram and then the Lord should be worshipped. And one is engaged in spiritual activities. That is grihastha ashram. So the priest, he should be able to say some words about, and that is actually expected of a brahmana. He should be able to give some guidance. So that should be done. And then, so as explained also, Achman is performed, and then the actual ceremony is there. So and now according to the ceremony done, so we have to call the fire god. You can light the fire, and then the fire is there. But the fire god may not be there, it's not there. Just you have a fire, like people make a fire, children, and then they just put some things in the fire when it's cold. But when we do ceremony, so we call the fire god, Agni Dev. And so different names are there, different Agnis are there according to Bhagavatam also. So for the marriage, then you call Avayami Yojaka Namagne Namaha, Avayami. So the Agni Dev named as Yojaka is called. Or for initiation, Samudbhava. Or sometimes for an auspicious ceremony, Vaishnav. The name of Agni Dev is Vaishnav. He's a Vaishnav, he's a devotee. Avayami, please come. Stapayami, please stay. Prabhu Kripaya Swagaram Kuru. So we respect Agni Dev. And then just like we do Panchopachar Puja, we explain to the Lord when you do puja. So you do to the fire. You offer chandan. You just touch the wood with chandan. But first you light the fire. And you call the fire to be there and to stay there for the time of the ceremony. And then, so then you offer chandan, then you offer flowers at the feet of Agni Dev, and then you offer incense, then you offer ghee lamp, then you offer a sweet. Yeah. Naivedya Samapanami. And each time you say the name of the article, Eshadupa, that is the incense. Namagya, then you have Yojaka Namaganaya Namaha, the name of the fire god. And then you have a sweet. So dry sweet usually. Pera or som papri. So, or laddu, you can offer laddu also. And then Agni Dev is eating.
We will stay sometime there.
Yeah, then he will stay. And he's waiting for more food to come. And what he likes, it's fire god, ghee. So we have a pure ghee. And he's happy. The more ghee you put, the fire is going nicely. But then you have to put more wood also. And then some rice and barley corn and sesame seed and some herbs, some mix, and that is offered also. And then usually then you have to also actually have to purify everything. Just like in the worship of the Lord, the incense, you purify the hand, the incense, the same in when you do the yajna. And then, for example, you have to purify around the fire. So usually the priest will have some water and he will go around the fire and over the whole, the yajna kund, and on himself also, to purify everything. Because sometimes some ants are there, some flies are flying around. So everything has to be purified. Even the ghee. So the ghee, so you cannot purify with water. You cannot mix water in the ghee. So but you have the pot, and because the fire that we explained before also, the fire is always pure. So you put the ghee over the fire, the ghee in the pot over the fire. And also the spoon, the yajna spoon. And so there you also touch the fire. And then the directions, we worship the directions also. The 8 directions are there. North, northeast, east, southeast, south, and so on. we offer some flower petals to the directions. And usually one god is there presiding over the direction. So that name we also say. And down to the earth also, we offer some flower to the earth and also up in the sky. So this is all preparation, and when this is done, then we can do the offering. So the priest usually will offer ghee, and those who are taking part, like for initiation or marriage, then they will offer some grains. Rice, barley corn, and black sesame seeds usually, and some auspicious herbs. And the priest will put some ghee and mix it together so it will burn more nicely. Yes?
Why we need to put the herbs?
Herbs? Oh, these are auspicious herbs. Oshadi, medicinal herbs. That is auspicious. These are dry.
It is related to Krishna's pastime also, right? Is there?
Krishna's pastimes?
Yeah, I heard in a lecture like the fire god want to eat the forest.
Well, that is, yeah, Kandava forest. Yeah, which was there.
Want some herbs to digest what is.
Yeah, he makes it. Yeah.
It is related.
No, it is not related to that. No. But that is the tradition. So that auspicious items are which are burning nicely, then also they are offered. So rice is auspicious. Barley corn, that is actually the first grain is barley. Barley corn is the first grain that is mentioned in the scriptures. In this world, when the world is manifested, then Lord Brahma is bringing everything into existence by the mercy of the Lord, and the barley corn is the first grain, and then other grains came. And then the fruits and the vegetables, the fruit trees and vegetables are coming. So, and then, yes. Yes. Yes.
Actually, two questions.
Yes.
In Agni Sthapan, it is being written, taking a burning stick from the purified fire. So, what is the purified fire?
Where are you reading?
Agni Sthapan, that is page 27.
Page 27. Yes. Okay. Yes. So that is an elaborate ceremony. You take a stick out of the fire and you throw it in the southwestern direction. As explained, actually the fire is pure, but sometimes some impurities are there. Like sometimes some bugs are there. For example, because we do the yaga kund and then we put some sand inside. And on top we put either white flour or rice flour. Sometimes some little bugs are there. So that is a kind of impurity. But sometimes it's difficult to take out all the bugs. Sometimes you can hardly see them. So therefore some impurity is there. And so therefore you take out the stick of the fire, because the fire of course will burn them, and will burn the wood, is burning the wood, but also even the bugs, everything is burned. So then, if something is, if somebody is dying, then impurity is there, right? Impurity is there, you go to cremation ground, then the body is burned. So the body is dead, so impurity is there.
Is that the Pradayo Agni?
What?
Is that the Pradayo Agni? That is the fire which burns the dead bodies?
Yeah, but there's nothing to do with here. That is completely different. But the point is some impurities there. In the sand maybe, or maybe in the rice flour, or so therefore the impurities have to be taken away.
And there is one more thing I wanted to ask. I hope there is a Vishwakshin Puja.
Vishwakshena Puja,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, so in elaborate worship, So there's actually Vishwakshena is the commander-in-chief of Vishnu's army, Vishwakshena. So in elaborate puja is worshipped. In elaborate puja, Vishwakshena is worshipped. And usually the Smarta Brahmanas, they worship Ganesh. Ganesh puja is first. But our acharyas, they have said there's no need to worship Ganesh or Vishwakshena in the normal ceremonies, in the simple ceremonies. But if you do elaborate worship, elaborate ceremony like you install deities, and you have a new temple, you install the temple, then you have an elaborate ceremony, and then you respect Ganesh also, you respect Vishwakshena, you respect Lord Shiva, you respect Lord Durga, and other personalities also. But in simple worship, we don't have to do. We keep it simple. We worship Guru Gauranga and Radha and Krishna. Okay? Yes.
The
Panchopachar. Yes.
Are we offering directly into the fire, like the chandan, the flower?
And the chandan, you just touch the fire, the wood, and then you leave it down. And then the flowers you put down, not inside the flower, just at the feet of the deities you put the flowers, so at the feet of the fire you put the flowers.
The sweet?
A sweet, yes. A sweet inside, of course, you will eat. Agnidev will eat, is a person.
Because chandan is in a liquid form.
Yeah, but you just have, you dip the flower in chandan and then you can apply it. Like you put on the forehead, to the deity or to Prabhupada, the flower dipped in chandan and you put on the forehead. So we touch just one piece of wood and then you put it down. Yes, and incense you show normal, because sun god is there, the fire god is there, person is there. If you're pure, you can see. And sometimes it's manifested also. That is mentioned even in Srimad Bhagavatam. When Prithu Maharaj was getting married, Agni Dev was manifest there, and they were circumambulating the fire. Maya is very strong. He became bewildered by Maya, and he became attracted to the wife of Prithu because she was so beautiful. But then he couldn't control himself. So Agni Dev is a demigod. But even they become bewildered. Even as we know, Indradev, demigod of the higher planets, Svarglok, many times he gets bewildered and he's afraid of his position and he's disturbing some great sadhus because he's afraid that he will lose his position. And a few times he became attracted to women also of this earthly planet. So sometimes he's in Maya also, Indradev. Yes.
So here it says that we do the Yajna we do the 5 lines.
5 lines, yes.
So sometimes they do the
Yes, different ways. So inside the Yajna Kund, before we put the wood and before we install the fire god, so we make 5 lines. Panchareka, and that representing the earth, Prithvi, Go, the cow, and then Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Yamuna. These 5. They are drawn 5 lines and they are representing these 5 personalities, female personalities. Other times one will make a lotus flower, Ashtadal, 8-petal lotus flower. And then usually inside, then when we do a lotus flower, then we put inside, we write Om, either Om or Klim, Bij mantra. Klim also refers to, what is Klim? Brahmanas here, any Brahmanas here? What is the meaning of Klim? You chant every day, right? The Gayatri, what is the meaning of Klim? Bij mantra, what is it meaning? What is the meaning? Jaini time? Yeah, Radha Krishna. But it's little more than Om, it's more personal. The loving exchange between Radha Krishna is included. Ka, Karochite Krishna. Nakar, Ladini Shakti Shrimati Rani. And E refers to the loving exchange. Ma is Chumban, the kissing of Radha Krishna together. And from that, then the Gayatri is coming, or the Gopal mantra. So that is written inside. And so sometimes Sad cone is drawn, means 6-pointed star, Sad cone. That is drawn inside. So sometimes even more elaborate. So that is auspicious. And so also indicating the source of everything. Ultimately, Krishna is the source of everything. And so, for example, also sometimes it is mentioned, because we are offering, for example, the ghee and the grains, we do a yajna, like marriage ceremony, we chant Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta, that is very famous Vedic mantra. Purusha Sukta, so glorification of the Purush, Mahapurush, the Supreme Lord. Sahasra Shesha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhomen Vishwato Vritva Attatishta Dashangulam Purushevedam Sarvam Yadbhutam Yakshabhavyam Uttam Rittad Vasheshana Yadanena Tirohati. So these are just two, but there are many more mantras. Sahasra Shesha Purusha, the Purush who has Sahasra Shesha, thousands of heads, Virat Rup, thousands of arms, thousands of feet. And then but we chant the Purusha Sukta and then we offer to Krishna actually, but indicating that everything is included in Krishna. So the Virat Rup is a manifestation of the Lord in this world, so we may meditate on Him. And then Dashangulam, so then also Paramatma is indicated. The size of Paramatma is Dash Angul, 10 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 fingers, that is the Paramatma. In the heart of a normal human being, it's 10 fingers big. Paramatma. You can see Paramatma? You see Paramatma? Okay. And don't worry, you don't have to see. We want to see Krishna anyhow. We're not looking for Paramatma, we're looking for Krishna in the heart. Yeah. So anyhow, then we offer to Krishna. And so through the fire, Krishna will accept. Like the priest is offering, saying the mantra, and then he said, Idam Krishnaya, Idam Namama. Every time, because Maya is very strong. And Prabhupada one time said, you can choose Krishna, Maya. Krishna, Maya. Every second you can choose. And we should choose Krishna, not Maya, right? So therefore you offer the ghee and the grains, they say, Idam Krishnaya, it is for Krishna, Namama, it is not for me. Idam Krishnaya, Idam Nama, whenever he's offering the ghee, he's saying that. So that is for Krishna. Through the fire, it will go to Krishna. So the fire god is a servant, but yeah. So he's getting the prasad also. He got the sweet in the beginning, and then he's doing the seva. And sometimes the pot is considered to be Lakshmi. So, and then of course, so when we worship the Lord, so everything is included that. So Radha Krishna there, but Lakshmi Narayan may be seen also. So it is for the Lord the offering, but through Agni Dev it is offered. And then, so for the different samskars, then different mantras may be chanted. So for the marriage ceremony, we chant the Purusha Sukta. For the Griha Pravesh, entering a new house, we chant Purusha Sukta. So, but for other ceremonies, other mantras may be there. So that is also mentioned. Actually, we have in two ways. We have, like on page 28 till... So the different samskars are explained. I'm just giving a brief, and then later on you can go through it and you can read it. like Garbhadan Samskar, then Pumsamana Samskar, Shimantanayan Samskars. We'll go through it shortly. And then for those who want to perform the ceremonies, in the second part of the book, then we've given all the mantras for those who want to do then the ceremonies. First is only an introduction for those who just want to have an idea. Like a Grihasta, okay, I have entered Grihasta ashram, now what samskar should be done? So that is mentioned, what samskar should be done. So then the Grihasta can read, and then he will have some understanding, and then he can call the priest. If one is a priest, then, so the mantras are there, and then one can just follow the book. So, yeah. Sometimes it is more elaborate, but this is just basic, and that is sufficient. So for simple ceremony. So is that clear? Clear? And just by the way, so like the Brahmanas, they should know Purusha Sukta. Any Brahmanas here? Brahmanas? Brahmanas? So you know Purusha Sukta? You know? Not yet. You will learn, huh? Okay. Jainitai, you're learning? Okay. So it is helpful, it is good to know. Like who wants to enter Gaur Lila? So like, yeah, fine, sure, yeah. But the man should know, the ladies, they don't really have to know. But if they want to learn Brahmini, they can. But so when Mahaprabhu, in Gaur Lila, in this world, so in the beginning the devotees, they did not know by Yoga Maya that Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit is the Supreme Lord. But they saw his very beautiful and his very learned personality. But then one day he went to Shiva Sangam, Shiva Pandit's house, and he sat on the deity's altar. And then Shiva Pandit, he was just astonished, and then he said, call all the devotees, I am the Lord you are worshipping. Because the Brahmanas are chanting different mantras and calling the Lord. And then he was like shaking, and he called all the devotees. Nimai Pandit is sitting on the Vyasasana of the Lord, and he's saying, I'm the Lord. And everyone came there, and then he told the devotees, chant the Purusha Sukta prayers. And all the devotees, they were chanting, Sahasra Shesha Purusha Sasaksha Sahasrapad, in front of Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit. And then he showed that he's the Supreme Lord. And then he told the devotees things which they only knew. Like he told Haridas Thakur, remember when they were beating you, the Muslims, and they were dragging you in 22 marketplaces? And then I protected you. And then he showed his back. And there were some marks of the ropes which they were using for beating, wiping the Haridas Thakur. He was protecting, he was taking the beating. And then in this way he was telling different devotees different things. And they understood that Nimai Pandit is the Supreme Lord, is situated in everyone's heart and is Bhagavan. And then they realized also that he's not different from Krishna. So in elaborate ceremonies, so then Purusha Sukta for marriage ceremonies is chanted. So but in daily worship, so usually when we worship Krishna, then we chant prayers in glorification of Krishna, like Brahma Samhita and some other verses. So I have a question?
Southwest, it's mentioned to expel the inauspicious events.
Yes.
The Southwest is mentioned all the masters of distance.
Well, south, Usually in the southeast, of course, that is Agni Kond, and the southwest, I can't remember which demigod is there, but that is the recommended thing to do. You put in the southwest. I can't remember now which presiding deity is there. Huh? It may be Rahu, yeah. No. First you call the fire god Avayami, Avahan. Avayami, you call. Hare Krishna, here is not working. Avayami. So you call the fire god and then Stapayami. Then you request him to stay. You come and you stay. And then you worship. Yeah. Then you worship the fire god. Okay? And anything else? One boy had one question. 1 second. Ho gaya? Yes.
I was saying the southwest is Bhishma.
What is it?
Bhishma Dev. South.
Bhishma Dev, or the 8 are mentioned there. Huh?
Southwest.
Bhishma Devaya. Somehow, Bhishma Dev. Yeah, according to Vastu, yeah. Just like the different planets are there, and then is a presiding deity of the planet. So directions are there. So the presiding deity of the different of the directions are there, but then here the Vaishnavas are mentioned also in the different directions. And for example, the planets, the lords of the planets are there, just like the sun planet. Who is the lord of the sun? No. That is, of course, he's the sun god, Lord Vivaswan, but who is the lord of the sun god, of the sun planet? Ramchandra. Ramchandra. And for the moon, Krishna Chandra. For the Mars planet, Nrishingadev. So that the different presiding deity of the planets, and so just like, for example, if there's some dosh in the horoscope, then sometimes they will say you worship the Mars, Mangal dosh, you worship the Mangal Graha. But we instead, we would worship Nrishingadev. If the moon is weak, we don't worship the moon god, but we worship Krishna. Anyhow, we worship Krishna, so we don't have to worry too much. But that is mentioned. Yes.
If someone have Mangal dosh,
Yes, if someone has Mangal dosh, yes.
so which plant they should worship?
Mangal dosh, that is the planet Mars. Yes, Mangal. So, but we don't worship we respect the planet Mars, but we worship the Lord of the planet Mars, that is Nrishingadev. Yeah. We worship Nrishingadev. So if somebody in a horoscope has a weak Mars, or there's some Mangal dosh is there, then you worship Nrishingadev, and the problem is solved. Yes. Shani. Yeah, then Shani Dev is there, and then the Lord of Shani, Saturn, where is it? Either Varaha, I think it is Varaha. So the Dashavatara there. So Kalki Avatar, we show respect also, but the other 9 lords, so the lords of the planets are there in Dashavata Stotram. So therefore, if you chant the Dashavata Stotram by Jayadevi Goswami, then the problems in the horoscope will be removed.
So daily we need to recite that.
In Orissa they chant every day the Dashavata Stotram. You are from Orissa? No. But we have a few Bengali, Oriyan pujaris, and they chant the Dashavata Stotram.
worship of the Lord Nrsimhadev, how we need to do?
Worship of Lord Nishingadev, how to do? Yeah. Worship of Nishingadev you can do in various ways. One is, for example, you do puja of Nishingadev. Puja. Yes, you can have a deity and then you worship, you do abhishek, and you dress Nishingadev, you offer incense, ghee lamp, flowers, bhoga, like we do for the deity. Or when you do a yajna, then you install Nishingadev in the pot, you worship with Panchopachar. Of course, first we should worship Guru and Gauranga, and then we worship Nishingadev. But then we can chant the Nrishinga Kavacha in honor for Nrishingadev. So instead of Purusha Sukta, we will chant Nrishinga Kavacha for Nrishinga Homa, Nrishinga Yagya.
So we need to do like once in time, or we need to do regularly?
Nrishinga Puja?
Nrsimha Puja, Yajna.
Huh?
Yajna.
Yagya. Well, if you have Mangal Dosh, at least you should do one time. You do one time. If you face too many difficulties in life, then you can do many times. So sometimes devotees, they do once a year, just to become free from the difficulties. That can be done. Jainita, he likes to do Nishinga Yagya, yeah, right? He did after his marriage, and I think 1 year later also he did. And recently also there was Nishinga Yagya, he participated. So you can do for protection, to remove the obstacles, to remove the impurities, you can do Nishinga Yagya, Nishinga Puja. Some Nishinga Bhaktas, they will do every day. Yes. Talking of the horoscope. Topic of discussion. We are yagas and samskar. But yes, it is also there, because when you're doing yagas and samskar, you always consult astrology when is auspicious time. And same also when there's a marriage ceremony, they will see if there's some dosh, they will do a ceremony many times before the marriage. Yes.
How effective is the yajna or the samskara that is being done against the dosha?
Against the dosha. Yes.
How successful is it?
How successful? He's asking, so how successful is the yajna if there's some dosh, some difficulty in the horoscope? Yeah, if the pujari is sincere and qualified, then the effect will be there. The effect will be there. But then, yeah, we have to depend on Krishna also. And we have to be tolerant, because in the material world, difficulties will be always there. Even if you don't have Mangal dosh, even if you do yajna, still some difficulty will be there. But it can reduce the problem, can be reduced. So you can manage. But difficulties are always there in the material world. So, but those who are, I can't think back to those who are fully dedicated to Krishna, they may not do any yajna or anything, like the sannyasis or brahmacharis, they don't have to do. But grihastas, because they are in this world, so they may do. And then it may be reduced a little bit to some extent. So it is helpful, it works, but at the same time, so you have to depend on Krishna, and the karma is there. There's a certain amount of difficulty which you have to face in life. But it is definitely helpful during these different ceremonies. Yes.
So to Prabhu's question, is the yajna reducing the karma or just postponing it?
No, why not? It is reducing. Yeah. When you do yajna, then you will become purified. And the difficulties which are there are reduced, not postponed. No, it is reduced. Otherwise, what is the use of postponing? It is reduced. But the thing is, when you're in the material world, problems will always be there. You face one problem, that is solved, and then another problem is there. So therefore, you may do a few times yajna, no problem. So therefore, sometimes devotees do once in a year. sometimes even more.
And karma is also four.
Karma?
Karma is also four types, right? Bhuta, bija.
Yeah, karma that is coming in installment also. The karma, the result of karma fall is coming in installment. Because, if everyone would come at one time, you will be dead. So you're there in the life and then you get punished slowly but surely. Not all at once. So the gods there, they are making all arrangements. So you suffer a little bit. Just so much you can tolerate. And then you suffer. But if you're very sinful, you go to hell. And then you suffer immediately and a lot. And it's almost unbearable. But still, the soul is never dying, but the suffering is great. Is incredible. It's in the hellish planets. So be a good person and then you don't have to suffer so much. But some suffering will be there in this world. Anything else about astrology or horoscope? Yes.
Different question. This from which Veda? From which Veda? Is this our Samskara, Yajna, and everything is coming?
From which Veda? So basically, actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, so he has taken from the, of course, from Gopal Bhatta Goswami ultimately, who was a Brahmana from South India. So, yeah, from Sri Ranga. Yeah. So, and the South Indian Brahmanas actually, they're very expert in Yajnas and Samskaras, and in deity worship also. So that he has taken, the Yajnas and Samskara he has taken from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So therefore the book is there, Sakriya Saradipika from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And then they have taken from the different Vedas are there. 4 Vedas are there, like Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva and Samaveda. So some mantra, just like we said, Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Param Sada Sampashtanti Suryaho, that is from Rig Veda. So different mantras may be from different Vedas, from the 4 Vedas. So not everything is mentioned, and so we don't know all of them. But like Om Tad Vishnu, this mantra that is specifically mentioned from Rig Veda. So from the different Vedas are there. Yes.
About Vivada Samskara, if someone asks us about advice for our children about arranged marriage, about this nature should be same in
Yes.
horoscope also. But in practice, in this world, it's very rare when souls come for serving together. It's very rare. Usually, like partners need for purification each other. And how we can explain about this others? Not we scared about this, go to the ashram, purify
Okay.
ourselves, and
Yes.
go to the Bhakti way, because Bhakti way we need to learn how to love.
Right.
And when we can love anyone.
Yes.
How
So,
we can explain?
yes. So the question is about how we can explain to the common persons about, for example, the marriage ceremony and then the marriage and then the compatibility of the boy and the girl. So according to also astrology, sometimes it will be seen and they will do the matching, if they're matching or not. And then sometimes people are worried, devotees also. When the astrology is saying only 13 are matching, good. The 36 are there, and at least it should be 18. So if it is above 18, then it is good. But sometimes it is less and then people are worried. So you're asking about right then?
Yes, and
Yes.
how explain better to go to the ashram on
Right.
time, because time very short in
Yes.
this period. And people, especially devotees, they looking this no, and time is going. And after they suffer,
Yeah.
but time is
Yeah. So how to explain that married So to do the marriage ceremony, that should be in time according to the Vedic literatures also. When the girl, when she's 16, above that she can get married, she should get married, 16 to 20. Boys, she should be 25 to 30. So, and also better to get married when they should not be too young but also not too old, but better to be a little younger, not too old. And also the matching is that, so from the astrology you can know something, but the main thing is actually that Krishna has to be in the center. And that one has to be nicely engaged in devotional service. So even if it is not completely matching, but if they are devotees, they are chanting, therefore I explained last time, we should always make sure that they are chanting, those who are getting married. If you are the priest, I always ask how many rounds they are chanting, the boy and the girl. If they are not chanting, I say I'm not doing. So at least, preferably they should chant 16, if not, then maybe 8 rounds. And if they are devotees, and they should be humble, tolerant and respectful. If both are humble, tolerant and respectful, then it is good. No problem in life. Even if the two of them, if one is humble, tolerant and respectful, then it's okay. But if both of them are not humble, tolerant and respectful, then it will not work out. I'll be fighting. So therefore, even according to astrology, sometimes it is matching. But if they are not so Krishna conscious, sometimes there's separation. Or even in Krishna consciousness, we have seen many couples, they're just separating because they are not humble enough, not tolerant enough, not respectful enough. On the other hand also, so one time a couple was there and the parents, they were saying only 13 points are matching of, and should be minimum 18. I said, well, if both of them are humble, tolerant and respectful, it'll be okay. And then the marriage ceremony was performed, they asked me to do, and they're still together. And they have 2 children and everything is fine. So if Krishna is in the center, then everything can be fine. If Krishna is not in the center, then karma will be there and catching you. So that is there. Yes?
You mentioned about the Nrsimha Yajna.
Nrsimha Yajna, yes.
So for that Yajna, the initial preparation, Kushandika, that's the same?
Same. All the Kushandika, the preliminary activity are same for each ceremony, each Yajna.
So only the main mantra in the center, that will
Yes. But then when you have a specific ceremony, then the mantras will change. Like for a marriage ceremony, so we chant Purushukta and some other mantras are there, Saptapadi. And when you have a Nishinga Yaga, you chant Nishinga Kavacha mantras. But then again, the concluding activities, these are the same. Okay? Yes?
So someone approaches us like to do the Nrsimha Yajna,
Yes.
and maybe their intention is not so spiritual, but just to protect any inauspicious access of
Yes.
So what should our approach be?
Well, we are there to help. We are there to help the devotees. And if there are difficulties, then we may tell them, yeah, fine, you go ahead. But then we should make sure also that they are chanting Hare Krishna and they are worshipping the Lord, because that is ultimately most important. If somebody is not devoted, not chanting the holy names, but then he wants to do a yajna, but then that might not be sufficient. And he may not cope with the difficulties, but if one is a devotee, then it is easier. But still, if one has difficulties and then he wants to do a yajna, you may do. And the yajna is always auspicious. And we should always take the help from wherever we can. So that is a kind of help. And it is auspicious. And usually even when we do Nrsimha Yajna, so we worship Guru and Ganga, and we may remember Radha Krishna, our Ishtadev, and then we do Nrsimha Yajna for protection from difficulties, to purify our consciousness, our heart. So that can be done. When we dare to help the devotees. So sometimes devotees, they don't have a child and they want the priest to do a yaga to get a child. So sometimes that is done. Or even sometimes some ailment will be there. One time there was one small boy, he could not talk properly. They asked me to do yagya, specific yagya. And then we did a yagya. After 2 months he was able to speak. And one time there were twins. They were not able to walk properly. I did a yagya. After 2-3 months they were able to walk. So we try to help if possible, and many times it is helpful. But sometimes if the karma is there that a certain person has to suffer from something, then sometimes maybe little relief is there but not full relief. But then, we can give good instructions even if it is not completely relief, but some relief may be there, and then we can give some good advice that it is just your karma and you have to just go through that. So we are there to help the devotees. Okay? Yes.
This is in regards to the karma.
Yes.
As the priest, officiating priest,
Yes.
he gets the karma. Because just now you gave an example that the child, he was not able to speak properly.
Right.
So where does this karma dissolve? Does the karma go to the priest? Or how? Where does it go?
Yeah, so he's asking the question if the karma is involved. So if the priest has to take some karma. Yes, a little karma the priest has to take. So therefore he should be nicely engaged in devotional service, to be protected. And then he gives it to Krishna. Here, Krishna, you just take care of that. Something may be there, but if you surrender to Krishna, Krishna will help. That's how it is. Even Prabhupada is saying, one time, many times after the initiation, he accepted disciples, then he got sick. Because he has to take some karma, but then Krishna is protecting also. But then the devotee is ready to help, so that is a help. He will take a little bit of karma, but not everything. Each person has his karma and he has to suffer, but then the spirit master, the priest, can help to reduce. And then Krishna is there, because they are surrendered to Krishna. And then Krishna will take care, but a little bit something he has to take. But he's taking. But then by his bhajan, by his devotional service, then that is dissolved. That is finished. So, but therefore we have to be careful. Therefore we look at the person for whom we have to do yajna. If he's a drunkard, then we're not going to do yajna for him. If he's a meat eater, no, sorry. We don't do yajna. Only for devotees. We don't do for outside people. Especially if they eat meat, they drink, they smoke. Or if somebody is doing something wrong, and we find out and then they want to do yajna, we say, sorry. So we have to protect ourselves. But otherwise, devotees who are just, they're trying their best, but they're struggling, then we may help. And so then one will take a little bit of karma. Like this mentioned, the king also. So he has to take the 1/6 of the population's karma he has to take. But he gets the benefit. So therefore he has to make them Krishna conscious. Then he will get benefit from their bhajan. And if they do something wrong, that he has to suffer also. But it is balance. So if the king is a good person, he's engaged in devotional service and asking everyone to engage in devotional service, he's okay. But if he is sinful and the people are sinful, then he will go to hell. Okay? Yes?
Practically, it happens like priests become like transparent nurse of Lord to the
Yes, the priest,
prayer.
right.
He asked him about special mercy for this
Yes.
people, right?
Yes, so the priest is the representative of the Lord, and so he will pray to the Lord for the benefit of the person. Just like I was giving the example of the boy who could not walk or talk. Then I was praying to the Lord, please help. And then it
So
It
like
worked.
it's working like one priest like who is more humble, not pure, this working because he can ask
Yes, if a pure devotee is doing ceremony, that is more beneficial. If one is not so poor, then the result may not be there so much.
It's according to relationships with the Lord of
Right.
priest, right?
So therefore you try to get the best priest, then you get the best benefit. Yes.
It's like the devotee is those who are doing this yajna, he is the grahastha devotee.
If it's a grahastha, yes.
So, and for financial purpose, he is going to do yajna in the karmi's house.
Yes.
So those who eat meat and
No, he should not do. As a devotee, he should not do in a person's house who is eating meat. We as devotees, we don't do. Karma is there, if they're eating meat and they're asking us to do a ceremony, we say, no, we're not doing. Only to devotees, because otherwise you will suffer. Yeah. If you do a ceremony for a person who is a karmi, who is eating meat, you will have to suffer.
But I heard from one devotee, he said before starting the yajna, so he is instruct the people, those who are participating, the karmis,
Yes.
he should tell to them to chant minimum 8 rounds or 10 rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Uh-huh.
Then only after he did yajna. So like that they can do?
Yes, but still, for example, one who is eating meat, usually even you tell them to chant 8 rounds, he will not do. Maybe say yes, but then he will not do. So first you have to see that the person is really sincere, then he will do a ceremony for that person. Otherwise we should not do. First you should say, first you give up eating meat, and then we will see, and then you start chanting Hare Krishna. But first they should give up eating meat, otherwise we will not do a ceremony, because otherwise you are implicated. It is mentioned, the person who is selling meat, he may not be eating, but he's selling meat, he will have to suffer. One who is cooking meat, he has to suffer. One who is eating meat is suffering. One who is serving meat is suffering. So if you do, so one who is doing yaga for somebody who is eating meat, you will get the money, but you will get the karma, so you will have to suffer. So why we should be greedy for money? We only do for those who are devotees. And then Krishna will arrange. Okay? Yes. Durvasa Muni, yes. Yes.
In the commentary it said that Maharaj Amrish had to use his fire to satisfy the Sudarshan Chakravarti, because otherwise Sudarshan Chakravarti was running behind the Vasa. So the entire Amrish Maharaj would use his piety to satisfy his prompter Sudarshan.
Yes, Durvasa Muni, so, and the story with Ambarish Maharaj, so Durvasa Muni is a Brahmana, but so he had some misconceptions also, and he was not he was proud also, and he disrespected Ambarish. So therefore then Sudarshan Chakra came, and then he had to run for his life. But then he went to Lord Brahma, please help me. I'm sorry, I cannot do. Sudarshan Chakra is the Lord's weapon. He went to Shiva. He said, sorry, I cannot help you. Only Vishnu himself can help you. And Vishnu, he came to Vishnu, please help me. Sudarshan Chakra is behind. I'm sorry, I cannot do anything. You have to beg forgiveness from the devotee you have offended. Then he went back to Ambarish. Yes. And then, of course, he was a great devotee. He said, yes, no problem. I'm insignificant. I didn't take any offense. But Vishnu is teaching that we have to beg forgiveness from the person we offended. Vishnu can protect, but he wants the offender to go to the person he has offended. Okay?
Can we do a yajna for offense?
To counteract offense, if you want to do a yagya, well, it depends what you have done wrong. If you do small offense, like das nama parad, then you beg forgiveness, If you do seva parad to the deity, some offense, then you may chant some extra rounds, you may chant one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, things like that. So, but if you have done a great offense, then, like for example, you're not careful in deity worship, the deity breaks, so then you may do a yajna. Well, then with repentance, you repent and you beg forgiveness, and you may do a yajna. Big offense, you have to do something substantial. But if it is small offense, you don't have to do a yajna. Chant a few extra rounds, or chant 12th chapter or 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And you chant mantra hinam, kriya hinam, and so on. Okay? Any more questions? Yes?
The question is about how the devotee that live in Russia, for example, and he can travel to Jaipur, Vrindavan, can get authoritative document for performing yagas, because he already performed yagas for himself, and he taught Satkriya Saradipika and other books. And is there any steps to obtain the formal document that he can perform yagas, or it's just a practical moment he do the yaga and
Yes. So the question is, if one wants to be approved as a priest, well, in Mayapur you can do the course and then you may be approved. And of course also here we can give certificate if you learn, no problem. But basically if you learn how to do a yajna and you practice, then you become expert and then you're approved. So you don't need really a stamp for that. Yeah, no problem if she has learned from the books, or also, of course, the teacher should be there to give some instructions. But then if you practice, and then you can do a brahmana. So brahmana is qualified by studying of the scriptures, by worshipping the Lord, and by doing yagas, then he becomes qualified, and then he can teach also, and he can perform these activities.
okay. And can we talk after meeting?
Yeah, we can talk after meeting some more, no problem, yes. Are you behind? Om? Yes. Kya? Not the whole karma. Yeah, when the spiritual master is accepting disciples. So the disciple is surrendering. So he's surrendering his karma also. But then not everything is, the spiritual master will take one part of the karma. And then Krishna will take care of the rest. And then a little bit, if one has been sinful, then one will have to suffer even after initiation, a little bit. Not that you go to Guru, okay, now I'm free from all my sinful activities. You will still have to suffer a little bit also. But the Spirit Master will help. And Krishna is there, if you're surrendering, he will help. You do it in this material world, but still he can get a cold. So some problem may be there. So if the disciples are, so those who are surrendering, so he will, that is the mercy that is there in the scriptures. The Spirit Master will take some of the reaction of sinful activities of the disciple. So that is a help, that is by the arrangement of the Lord. Like the king, if he's a representative of the Lord, he should be, then he will help the citizens to become free from suffering. The citizens to become free from suffering. And practically he has to help. So the Spirit Master is transcendental, that is there, but is there in his body. And the Spirit Master's body is getting old. And then therefore some disease may come as a result of some taking some of the reaction of sinful life of the disciples. And then therefore also the disciples have to be careful. If they do something wrong, then a little bit it will come to the spiritual master also. And then you can see practically, if a disciple is doing some nonsense, then it will come to the spiritual master. He will complain, oh, your disciple this nonsense. And he has to be involved, and he has to try to solve the problem that is there. But if you do something wrong, you have to suffer. That is there. But the spiritual master can help. And if you surrender, then you can be free. But then if you surrender your disciple and do something wrong again, then you will have to suffer for doing something wrong. But the spiritual master will have to take a little bit something. Okay? Yes.
If someone give us donations and we use it for devotional service,
Yes.
we not take this karma, but we doing this devotional service. This gift for this person profit for their spiritual life, or maybe some rules also have for Brahmas, like how.
Well, so yeah, the question is if somebody is giving donation to a brahmana. So, and again the same principle is there. If somebody, even as a devotee, sometimes they are not completely pure. So they give money to the priest for doing some ceremony. So then the priest will have again there to take some of the contamination which is there. And therefore is mentioned. So the priest is getting donation, and he has to give donation also. Then he will be protected, and the money will be purified. He's getting money, so he's giving something to the deities, he's giving something to other brahmanas, and he keeps whatever he needs. So in this way, if there's some contamination there, some karma is there in the money, so that it will be distributed to the Lord, and the Lord, then everything is fine. Or you give to other brahmanas. And then, in this way, the money will be purified. So therefore, the brahmana, so he's receiving donations and he's giving to others also.
And the second question, if we feel we don't want to take donation from some personalities, can we?
Yes, if you know that somebody is a sinful person and they want to give you money, you don't have to take. No.
Because sometimes we can feel like some of them can use us for
Yes.
something.
Yeah, sometimes it may be there. Some people, they come and they want to give to a brahmana because they're engaged in devotional service. And maybe it is black money, right? Or they have done something wrong. So then they want to become free from that. Yeah. So we have to be careful. Yeah. Yes.
So, like continuing this same question, if someone is giving the donation for the devotional service, that those who taken he used for himself or personal use. So,
Say again.
someone is giving donation for devotional service,
Yes.
and that person, those who taken, he used for his personal service, personal use, or he used for something. He spended that amount. Like,
Yes.
so he will get sin or what?
Yeah, that is, of course, that is wrong. If somebody is, let's say somebody is giving something to the temple, to be used for the temple, and if, so this person is keeping in his pocket, that is sinful actually. Then he will have to suffer some reaction.
Even that is like a black money which you have said.
Even if it is normal money, if a sincere person is giving something to the temple, and then giving to one of the brahmacharis or something, one of the pujaris, and they're keeping for themselves, that is not proper, that is sinful. And then they will have to suffer for this. That should never be done. It may be white money or black money, that's not proper. Anything else? Yes.
And about donations. If someone try to gather people to make some yajna, for example,
Yes.
100 people, 200, 400 people, and he gather the donations from him, and just some piece of this money go to the
Uh-huh.
Yagyavala, and other money is put in his pocket.
Uh-huh.
What is the result of this activity? Is it something good, or it is just like sinful activity?
Well, it does. One has to see. So the question is, if one person is doing a yagya, so he is asking 100 or 200 people to give some money for the yagya, and then using whatever is needed for the yagya, and the rest is keeping. So what is this? So now it depends why he's doing this yagya and what he's telling the people. So that depends. So if it is genuine or not, that we have to see. If somebody is saying, okay, we will do a Nishinga Yagya, and then he's announcing to people, we'll do a Nishinga Yagya, it will cost, the expenses will be 10,000 rupees. So, but then he's collecting from 100 devotees, he's collecting 5,000. So he has a lot of more extra money. So, but then, usually the priest, he can get some donation. So, but then he should be reasonable. So, but if the devotees are ready to pay, then it is fine. It is fine. Or if he is doing himself or he is doing for the temple, that depends. So you have to see time, place and circumstances. Okay? Yes?
What about online?
Online.
Reactive process.
Yeah.
Someone is sitting in different place and someone is sitting in different place.
Yes.
And a person is doing a yajna for a person's benefit. So how does it work? Because I've seen that in Diksha, someone gives the Diksha mantras by the phone, and how does it work?
Oh yeah, it is a matter of the consciousness, and it may be done, but it's always best to do on site. That the guru is there, the disciple is there, or even if you do Nishinga Yaga, that everyone is present. I mean, nowadays they use online and they will do, and it may be acceptable, but it is not the traditional way. So as far as possible, you should do the traditional way. That is better. But sometimes it is just difficult, and for practical reasons they may do using that, but it's a kind of, not that, at least personally I think it is not the best way to do. But it may be done, and Prabhupada has done also, like giving initiation through mail, just because he was so busy. And so it may be done. But it is, so the tradition is there, and the guru is there, disciple is there, and then the fire yaga is there. So that is ideal. So as far as possible, you should do ideally. But the acharya, so he may do, so according to time, place and circumstances, and the acharya is powerful, so then it is all right. But then not to imitate. But even now, for example, they do online yagas also. Because people, they may not be able to come, so they give a donation, and then yaga is done, and then the name is recited. So some benefit will be there. Some benefit is there. But if you can directly participate, it's always better. Anything else? And it's 6:45, we should stop here, so we'll have class tomorrow also. We'll go a little bit more in the different samskars. We should read all the samskars tomorrow and all the ceremonies. And then we'll have Adivas Puja. So the ceremony before, we have a special event for the deities especially, then Adivas Puja is there, that we will also show in real here for our deities here, because on Purnima Tithi 2018 the deities were brought here and worshipped here. So tomorrow evening we'll have Adivas Puja also, 7:15 or 7:30. Okay? Hare Krishna. Just like in deity worship, when we do yagya, at the end of the yagya there is always Mahaprasad. So we'll have Mahaprasad also. Hare Krishna.
Shall I make some sweet?
Huh? Oh, you want sweet? Acha. Okay. Hare Krishna.
गुरुदेव कल ये आदिवास में सहयोग करना
Huh? Some sweet? Acha.
गुरुदेव ये आदिवास में कल सहयोग करना चाहते हैं, इनको सब आता है।
हाँ ठीक है, सब आता है। अच्छा।
4 साल सीखा था नर्सिंग एगो गया
कहाँ?
गुरुकुल में
कौन से गुरुकुल?
झारखंड
झारखंड। अच्छा,